Children, today last class we had that's the introduction of center of mass, and if you remember when we were doing with the center of mass, what was the important thing that we had to understand? We did with two systems. One was for the discrete particle and the other one was for the continuous. When we talk of the discrete means we are able to identify the particles, but when we talk of the continuous, I already said, let us assume this pen you are not able to count the number of particles. So here we are going to apply the calculus, and there we had the general formula that R, a center of mass of the system, R Cm is equals to m1 x1 plus m2 x2. So if we are finding for the x coordinate, it is m1 x1 plus m2 x2 divided by m1 plus m2. But if we are finding out the y coordinate, it is m1 y1 plus m2 y2 divided by m1 plus m2, right? So it depends upon the number of particles you have taken. You substitute the formula and get the value. Now this is one thing for the discrete values. When we were doing for the continuous one, we were using the formula x center of mass is equals to integration of x dm divided by integration of dm. Right. So in this regard, we are going to find out a center of mass of a uniform rod. So today class we are going to learn how we can find out the center of mass of a uniform rod. So we are there to find out center of mass of a uniform rod, right? Center of mass of a uniform rod. Suppose I have taken this as one of the axes. Let us assume we have taken this as a rod. This is the complete length of the rod, and the rod is taken such, this is what we have taken as the origin, and this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. Okay. Now let us assume we have taken a very small elementary part of it, and this is dx, right? And this distance is from here to here, it is x. I hope things are very clear. We are here to find out the center of mass of a uniform rod. We have kept in the xy plane. This is the rod of length L. Okay, and we have taken a very small elementary portion. That elementary portion is of elementary portion of thickness dx, and it is at a distance x from the other side of it. Is that clear? Now we are there to find out the center of mass. In order to find out the center of mass, L is the length of the rod. What we have taken, L is the length of the rod. M, we have taken the mass of the rod. Mass of the rod. So we have got mass per unit length. We can write mass per unit length as equals to m by L. I hope it is clear. We have taken mass per unit length as equals to m by L. Now we are here to find out the mass of this elementary portion. We want to find out the mass of the elementary portion, this portion. If we could find out the mass, then we can easily substitute in a formula, the formula which we did in the last class. X center of mass is equals to integration of x dm divided by integration of dm. So we need to find out this dm, that is the mass of the elementary portion. So mass of elementary portion, this is the elementary portion. We are finding out the mass of this. This is equals to dm is equals to mass by length into distance. As because we are finding out for a very small, so the distance is dx. We have taken it as dx. So we have got center of mass as equals to integration of x dm divided by integration of dm. This is equals to 0 to L. We have taken 0 to L. We have taken x instead of dm. We have taken m by L, and this is dx divided by this is dm. I hope things are very clear over here. We have taken this as dm, right? Now in this case, what we are going to do, we have substituted for dm, but here we have not substituted, but the integration of total mass is m only, so no need to do anything. So here we have got m by L. So let us take m by L outside. So we are taking m by L. We have taken m by L outside, and integration of this dm is m. integration of dm here at the lowest point. For this part we are taking it as m. Now integration of 0 to L, we are left out with x dx, right? Because it is from 0 to L, we are starting from this end and finishing up till this end. So m is cancelled out, so we are having L 1 by L, and this is x square by 2. Integration is x square by 2, you all know, and this is 0 to L. So it is 1 by 2L, and it is upper limit minus lower limit. Upper limit is L square minus lower limit. So what we are left out? We are left out with 1 by 2L into L square. So we are left out with L by 2. So this is pretty very important to understand, that we are getting the center of mass at half. That is, center of mass is equals to L by 2. So it's very easy to do with it. We have considered this is we are doing for the continuous body. We have taken this as the coordinates x1, y. We have kept one end over here so that we can take the limits from 0 to L. We have taken a small elementary portion dx, and we tried to find out the mass of this elementary portion with the formula x dm by integration of dm 0 to L, and dm mass per unit m by L we have got. So for dm it is m by L into dx. We substituted it here, and integration of dm. So this integration of dm, we are getting m only, m by L, m is cancelled out, 0 to L x dx, it is x square by 2, 1 by 2L, it is L square, 1 by 2L, L square by L, so it is L by 2. So we have got this relation. I hope you have understood this. Thank you for watching. Please try to do more of the numericals on this chapter, and you will find it's all very easy to do. Motion of center of mass you can easily do, and just remember one thing, it's all very easy. And some examples based on the motion of center of mass, like we have got the explosion of a bomb. When a bomb is placed at a same point, explodes, then the fragments are flying in all directions, right? The bomb explodes due to its internal energy, and external force is also present. Thus the center of mass remains at the point where the bomb was placed. So that is flying. You can see that all Atishbaji, what we call it, is all related to that. Now next is the explosion of a projectile. So here also the same conditions we have. The one thing that I would like you all to go through is the momentum conservation. And it is very simple to understand that the dp by dt is equals to external force. So if there is no external force acting on the system, the total momentum of the body is conserved. That is, when the vector sum of the external force acting on the system becomes 0, the total linear momentum of the system remains conserved. Yeah, that is, it remains constant. That becomes very important. Please go through. I hope you will understand. Thank you for watching.